add your information here so that we can kind of keep track of how many have attended this and if we can make sure that we answer all of your questions.
Definitely. And we are recording the session. I think I just turned on the recording. Everything working out right? Okay, good. Okay, so I guess we should get started. It's already 11:07. Welcome to our WorkSmart workshop series. Today we are presenting on Zotero, which is, as Melissa mentioned, we can't say enough good things about. I'm very, very excited. So just for introductions, I'm Francisco Fajardo, Frank Fajardo. I work over at the Medical Library, and today I'm joined by
Melissa Del Castillo, and I'm in the Green Library.
Yes, and please feel free to, just a little matter of housekeeping. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to post it in the chat, or you can unmute yourself. There's no stupid questions, just questions you don't ask. But we will be monitoring. If one of us is presenting, the other one will be monitoring the chat. So please feel free to post your questions. Okay. So just to get us started, everybody could see my screen, right? Okay, good. So welcome to Zotero. This is, as it says, your personal research assistant. That's very much like you see with other citation management tools. It's a great tool to manage all your references and citations all in one place. Definitely when you want assistance with, whatever paper that you're writing, a manuscript, if those of you, that might be faculty or working with faculty, it is excellent. There's other tools out there that we do support. The other one in a separate workshop is EndNote. That happened actually last week, I believe. We do support also Zotero. Okay. So what is Zotero? It is a virtual filing cabinet of reusable references that you can just, use and time again. It's a great way to keep organized. It is an open source software, and we like to keep it that way, completely 100% free, except for when you need to pay for storage, which I'll talk about in a bit. It is a dynamic citation generator, which you could save, collect, manage, cite, and share different research sources, throughout a lot of the resources that we have here at FIU that we subscribe to, but even outside of that. And it does integrate with Google Docs and Word, which also helps out with collaboration. That's a great thing especially when you're working for group projects or other colleagues across the different colleges or the university. Okay. It is free, very important. But there is a cost when you do pay for storage. However, Melissa and I could probably tell you, we are librarians. We have tons of citations in our Zotero libraries, but I have never paid for storage. But definitely, if you're a power user, you're planning to store your PDFs, it is a good place. You might want to consider that as an option. FIU does not pay or support that. But that's something that comes out of yourself. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. Collaboration is great, especially when you're working in Google Docs, or maybe if you're working with a Word document. That's awesome, and it does have a very nice plugin that works with Google Chrome or a couple of the other browsers, that you can take snapshots and actually grab citations from the web or some of the databases that we have out there. So it makes it very easy to grab and, create a citation and have it there. And also too, you're able to drag and drop PDFs, let's say if you have from your own files, into your Zotero library, and it will generate a citation from the metadata. So that's a nice feature too. We will all try to demo that today at some point. So we will show you some of the great features of Zotero. So how do I get Zotero? So if you want to see about, doing and following along, a couple of things that we're going to demo, you definitely want to go to zotero.org. Again, zotero.org. Okay, and you're going to fill out the form and register for the first time. And it's going to email you a set of instructions actually to verify your account. You're going to get that right after. Okay. And you'll see, depending on the operating system that you're running, it'll tell you, whether it's for Windows or for Mac, because it does work well with Mac too as well. And also too, it'll ask you to download, or you're going to see a little screen there for within that same download area to see about connecting it to, or downloading it for the plugin in your favorite browser. Okay, so I think today you'll see I use Chrome, but it does work also too with Edge. That's one of the things. I don't know too much about Safari though for those Mac users, but it does work with other browsers as well. Okay. So we're gonna get right into the demonstrations and show you a little bit of the magic of Zotero. So I will just get out of the presentation here and let Melissa take over.
Okie dokie. Let me just go ahead and close that. And I am going to be sharing my whole desktop because there are some pop-ups that I want you to be able to see. So if you see any emails pop up, just ignore. So let me go ahead and open up a browser. And I'm using Chrome. Chrome is the one that works the best for Zotero, but you can use the other browsers, and I'll show that to you right now. So let's go ahead and go to zotero.org. And this is the Zotero web version. Just Zotero lives in two places. It lives on the web, so you can go to different computers, log in, and use Zotero. And then also there's a desktop that lives on your actual computer that you use day to day. So if you, I'm going to go ahead and get logged in. And this is what my library looks like. I'm just going to leave this for now and go back to that Zotero page so I can show you really quickly. So this is where you find the connector. Having the Zotero connector is very important for when you are downloading citations from the FIU library's catalog, from the databases, EBSCO, Medline, PubMed. You will need this connector to be able to quickly add it to your library. And how you find that is you can click here on download. And you can see that it already recognizes that I am on a Mac and I am using Chrome. I have it already downloaded as a connector, but if you do not have it yet, you'll see install, and it would be, you would be able to do that. And if I click here, I can show you, here are the other three that are available. Firefox, Edge, and Safari all have this connector functionality that you can add to your web browser. And it makes it really easy to just add citations on the fly. And we'll get to that in 1 second. I just also want to point out that this is the desktop that you would need to download to your personal computer to use some of the Write and Cite features that Frank is going to be showing. And we're going to show both versions, the desktop and the browser, Zotero. So we'll be going back and forth. So let's go ahead and get started and add some citations. And I could show you exactly how to do that from the library website. So here I am on the homepage for the library. And I am first going to start off with, let's start off with the catalog. So I'm going to go ahead and click on catalog. And this is going to be for when we're adding books or videos from our catalog that we're going to be using in our research projects. So I'm an art major. Oh, but I think artificial intelligence. We've been using that. So I'm going to go ahead and use that as my topic to find some books to add to Zotero. So here we are. We have a couple of books here. Let's find one. Let's see. Some of these are a little older. I guess we're doing historical research. So here I have a book. I'm going to go ahead and click on the book. So maybe I use this as in my research project, and I want to be able to cite this source, or I want to keep track of it when I'm doing my research. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on the actual record. So I have this book, and you'll notice this is my Zotero connector. This is what it looks like. And it does change in appearance depending on what type of source. So right now it is saving it as a book, and that's why it looks like a cute little book. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this little book icon. I'm already logged in, so it knows exactly how to connect to my library. I'm going to click here just to show you that I can add it to a specific folder if that's what I want to do, or I could just add it to my general library. You have that choice here. You also have the choice to add tags. These are great for organizing projects. You know, when I was doing my literature review, I had different tags for different topics so that when I was working on the different sections, I was able to just quickly go to all of those citations that were related to that specific tag that I had given it. So let's go ahead and we can just add in AI. And these are your tags. You could have, they could be whatever you want. I know at one point when I was using Zotero, when I was going to grad school, I added tags. Oops. I let somebody else in. I added tags that were related to my course. So I had the course number was my tag. And I knew that if I clicked on that tag, those were all of the references that I was using in that specific course. So you can use these however you like to keep yourself organized. So I went ahead and I added this book to my AI project. Let's go back. And you notice how this changed. It went from the book to a folder because now I have multiple sources here that I could add to my research project. So when I get this little folder icon for Zotero, that means that I could add more than one at the same time. So if I click that, oh, this one's kind of difficult because because they all have the same title. But if they were a list of articles, you would have individual article titles. And we'll show that to you once we get into the databases. But you can click multiple titles to be able to add to your library. I'm going to go ahead and put them in that folder and add my tag that I want to keep. And now I have all of those three that I added to my folder with the individual tag. If I wanted to quickly add this, you saw this changes from the folder, from the many to the one to the book. So if I wanted to just add this book, I would click here, save to Zotero, and it's for this book icon that I'm going to save. I think I'm doubling this. Okay, so I've added my tag. And so now I'm collecting some books to be able to use in my project, go and visit them. Whenever I'm on the web, I just go to my Zotero account and I could pick up where I left off in my research. So this is the catalog function. Anything that is in the catalog, whether that is a book, a video, an article, you can add them. Looks like most of these are books, but here's a video. And because it is a catalog, it does recognize it as a video, as a book, because it's the icon for catalog. So I could go ahead and add this video here. I'm going to save it, add my tag. You don't have to add a tag. This is just something I'm got myself into the practice of doing. Okay. And I've added that to my my library. So that is the catalog from the FIU libraries homepage, where I added those books, those ebooks, those videos. Does anybody have any questions about adding from the catalog? And we'll keep adding, so you can also interrupt me if you want to, if you want me to re-explain. But I think if we move on to a database, you can see the difference between adding a catalog item and adding an actual article, a journal article. So we're going to start with, Eric. That's our first one. So I'm going to go to the Eric database. So find A to Z list and Eric, which is, it's right here. Eric, which is our education database. Let's do the ProQuest one. And let's do generative AI. Maybe we need some sources. Oops, sorry. That'll pop up. And let's find some articles. So we're in a list of multiple resources. So you'll notice it is this folder icon because there are many to choose from. And now I think if I click here, I can see that these have different titles. So when the titles are very different, it's much easier to choose. So I can use this list and choose the titles. And this is for the view that you have. So if you are at a view of 25 records, 25 will be the max that pops up here in this folder icon. If you had your view set to 100, you would have 100 in the list to choose from. So this isn't an exhaustive list of all of your results. This is just the view from the database. So depending on what you set your view parameters to. So I can go in here and I could click a couple of these, or I can select all. Excuse me. Let's go ahead and click OK. And you'll see they all pop up here. Going to save them in my AI folder, and I'm going to give them that AI tag. And that's not to say that I add some titles here when I'm doing my exploratory research that at any point I can decide to delete or move from that folder to another folder. So when I'm doing research, I just generally tend to just add whatever looks interesting to me. And then at the point in time when I can, I go back and I read the article and decide whether it's in the right folder, if it's something I'm going to use in my literature review, vice so on. So that's the folder icon. Oh, excuse me. Let's look at an individual article. Okay. Now you notice that our folder has turned into this icon for article, and it looks like a little paper that you can individually now download this specific article. So I've added some from the results, or I can go into the individual record and add them there, depending on how your workflow is, whatever is easiest for you. And that is Eric, which is a ProQuest database. I'm going to show you another database so that you can, see that they all kind of function in the same way. So let's go back to our list and oops. Let's do PubMed now. So I'm in my list. I'm going to So here is my PubMed. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And let's do a search for artificial intelligence. Oh, there we go, popping right up. And you'll notice we are in the screen for results. So we have this folder icon where we can choose individual out of the list. Or we could click on a specific article and it changed to this paper icon for article. And now I can add this specific article. So once you have that connector, it is really easy when you're doing research to just bam, 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 adding a bunch of articles. And then, you know, once you're done with your search, and then you could be ready to do your actual reading. It does retain a link to these articles, and I'll show that to you in a second, where you can go and then at the time when you have to be able to read them at length, you have that time to be able to reference them and get to them really quickly. So that is PubMed, pretty easy. All the databases work exactly the same with this icon right here, which is your connector, your Zotero connector, and this will appear in all of the different browsers that there are available to be able to just quickly add that. And that's the catalog, and that is the databases. The last one I'm going to show you, or excuse me, I'm going to have two more to show you. These two will be on the web. So maybe you don't use the databases for your research, you use Google Scholar. So let me show you what it looks like, Google Scholar. So I'm in Google Scholar. I'm going to do my search again. And you'll notice I have, just like with the databases in the catalog, I have the folder icon to be able to add multiple results at the same time. Okay, or I can click on my article. It has changed to this article icon. And this is important when you are creating your bibliography, to be able to tell the Zotero how to format your individual citation. So it's already collecting that data when I'm harvesting these research articles. So let's go ahead and add this one to it. Oh, this one's a little slow. Let me go back. I wonder if it's because it's 349 pages. I hope it's not. Oh, here's another icon. This one is for book chapter. So you'll notice they all look a little different. This one's super cute though. So maybe it was because that was that one was connected to so many pages in the PDF. But as you can tell that it is telling me that it cannot save the PDF for me. It can only save the actual citation. But with the citation, you would be able to click through to get to the actual article. So let's go ahead and save this.
Right, and just a note, while Melissa's doing that too, you'll notice that she's pulling in some full text, the PDFs, right? Not all of them are available, but since we are signed in and we have, through FIU libraries, it's pulling it in because we subscribe to so many different journals and so many different packages and stuff that's gonna come there. So just know that sometimes it's not necessarily will have the full text, but you are able to add the full text at a later date if you want to, because we do have interlibrary loan. So that's an option for you as well.
Yeah, it looks like the reason why I can't pull the full text in is because I probably need to log in.
Oh,
So I haven't done that step. But when I'm in the databases, I've already logged in. So that's why those did not give me that full text not available. So that is Google Scholar. I can add from the list, or I can go into the individual. But yes, it is a little different than our databases because not all of them have a PDF that is associated. But when you use the library databases and catalog, you have a link to find the full text that is associated with your SSO sign-in. So we've added Google Scholar, but what about when you're like on the web? What if you're at New York Times? And this is my favorite one because, you know, we're so used to doing research in databases that that one we know there are citations that are you know, associated because the database companies have paid an abstract indexer to be able to make sure the metadata is correct. But when you're on the web, it can be sometimes more difficult. So let's show you how you can add articles from the web. I think, let's see. So I am going to just choose something from here. I was hoping I could find something that would, oh, I've been reading about the Louvre heist. It's pretty cool. So maybe I'm doing a paper on art theft and art crime, and I have my New York Times article. Now you notice that it has changed to this newspaper icon. So I can change my folder to just my regular library because it's a different project that I'm working on. And I can add a tag to my project. So now I have this lone art article that I can at a later date create a folder for and move it to that folder. But right now I'm just saving it into my Zotero so that I can read it at a later date, and it will retain the URL to be able to easily access the article. But this is the newspaper icon. There is also for the web, if you were on a website like the CDC, and if you were doing a project on measles, you notice this looks very similar to the article, but it does have this like blue at the bottom. This is the icon for a web page. The one thing I am going to say is that when you are saving from the web, the citations are only as good as the metadata that the actual website has entered. Usually when you're looking at these government entities or associations or organizations, it's going to have really good metadata so that it can create those citations. But sometimes when you're on blogs or like a Substack, the author doesn't enter in the metadata like as robust as some of these bigger organizations. But at any time when you add one of these web pages to your Zotero, you can, if the title's missing, you can change, you know, add the title. If the author's missing or the date, you can, you know, go back into your list and, you know, make sure that it has all the correct information. You won't be doing that as much or little to none with articles that come from the library website and the databases. But when you're on the web, just be wary that they may not have the metadata standards that library databases have. Okay, my measles article. And let's go and look at our Zotero web page. I'm going to go ahead and click on, oops, I meant to hit web library. This is how I get to my library. So now I am going to have those different articles that I've added. Here are some of the artificial articles that I added. Here's that measles article that I just added, the website I just added, measles cases and outbreaks. So here's my Louvre, here's my heist article about art theft. and they've all just added here. But as you can see, some of them are, especially if it's from the New York Times, it might be missing the author. You might have to go back and add New York Times as the author if it's like an editorial piece or a general piece that the New York Times editorial, or excuse me, writer board has created. So these are all of the items I have added. I can also click here on AI, and these are the ones that I added to the folder. And then at any time I can, choose an article and move that article to a folder depending on, how I want to reorganize that. Let's see. So if I go back here, that's my library. And this is just Zotero.org, and I'm making sure that I'm logged in. There's also an opportunity to join different groups, and this is how you collaborate with others, is by you can either form a group or you can join a group. And I have a couple of groups here. Here's the FIU Libraries group. This is what we use when we do our Zotero trainings. And this one is private, only members can edit. But I have some that are public, and there are different permissions, whether they can view or whether they can edit as a member or as the public. Let's see. So if I wanted to create a group, just naming it something, and it'll let me know if that name is available. Okay, that one is. So now I get to choose how I want to have this group function. Do I want it to be totally open, where anybody can add and edit the citations? And that's this public open membership group. I'm on a committee, and we do a lot of research in the committee, and we have a public open group because we promote that group to those that are in the actual membership to be able to use the Zotero library. You can also have a public group where people can view it, but it's closed to the membership of editing and adding. And then if you're doing a project with your fellow students or faculty members, I would choose a private membership, and you invite those individuals to be able to work on this group, because you don't want anyone on the web being able to add or view the articles that you've collected for this project. So I'm going to go ahead and choose this middle one, create the group. And it lets you, be a little more specific of how you want this group to operate. It is a public close. Do I want anyone on the internet, or do I want just the group members to be able to view? Who do I want to edit the actual articles and categorize and things like that? Maybe I only want group admins. And then the individual file, making sure the title is correct and that the author is stated. I can also pinpoint who I want to be able to edit that. So now I have member settings and library settings, and I've created my my AI. Currently, I'm the only member, but I can click here and it would show me if there were multiple members. And this is the URL that I could share with others to be able to share this group and work together. And if I had items, this would be the group library. If I had added items, this is where those shared items would be. And that is the group functionality. And now I have my new group right here at the top. I click manage members. This is where I could send my invitation. So you create the group and then you could send the invitations to specific people. This is a closed group. So you would want to be very intentional about who you want to add to this group. And that is groups. I think I'm going to hand it over to you, Frank, to show the desktop. But
Thank
anybody have
you.
any questions about the web interface, the browser, adding articles? We're here, so you can add them into the chat or interrupt us, and we'll have time at the end for questions.
Definitely. There was a question I believe was in the chat, but then it disappeared. Was it I hate to call on folks, but I swear I thought I was not mistaken. Margaret, did you have a question regarding the app, the mobile app? I think there was something about that, if that's possible to connect and you could use stuff on like your phone or your tablet. Was that the question? Feel free to unmute yourself or you could type in the chat.
I don't have as much experience with the mobile app, but I have used it. I use it when I go to conferences, especially when I'm listening to someone talk about articles in a session. I'll, be able to look it up and use the Zotero mobile app. But that's a good thing to maybe add to our next session. Maybe I'll.
Yeah, I mean, I've used it too. It's, obviously the desktop and the web, that's the functionality is there versus like but I understand, yeah, definitely you're on the go using the app and it works well. I think you are able to edit some of the stuff that, some of the citations you collect, that you're able to do on that. Obviously for me, probably much easier on a tablet versus on a phone, but yeah, it does have that functionality. I have it on my phone actually, and it's yeah. So I have used it before, so it works pretty well. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the desktop interface because you just downloaded your desktop client, the program. You should have it open because it does sync with the online library. Okay, there's a little bit of a lag sometimes, but it's pretty you'll see that it does sync rather quickly. So everyone could see my Zotero, the desktop, right? Okay, so I got the thumbs up. So here are some of the things that I've collected while, Melissa was presenting, and I have my own AI, folder, and a couple of things that I collected from our catalog and a couple of the databases. So it should mirror exactly what you have in the online library. And, this is where you want to go in and make sure that what you have collected, what you've brought in, does match your online library, but also the metadata that it pulled is correct, because this is where you might want to see, especially like a newspaper article, that it does appear as a newspaper article, that the authors are all there, the title is written, all that stuff. Maybe there's a DOI that you need to include because that's part of the assignment. Some professors do require that. That's important that you want to check all of that, which will be here on this little window here on the right-hand side. Okay, you want to make sure that all that is correct. Okay, so here in the little info, I just highlighted one of the citations that I brought in, that it is a book, right? The title is correct. The author or the authors are all there, right? The edition may be, the ISBN might be something important. All this information that it is correct, okay? And also too, you are able to add attachments such as a PDF or maybe it's a book chapter. This is where you want to attach that right there. And now I wanted to mention earlier when I talked about storage, Zotero, you get 300 megabytes of storage for free on the cloud. If you do want to upgrade and add more storage, it's you do have to pay a fee, which is $20 a year for 2 gigs, 60 for 6 gigs a year, and for unlimited storage, it's 120. Again, that all depends on what kind of user you are, how much you in terms of you want to store your PDFs, have it all there. That's up to you. Okay, but this is important. You do have that option of storing the the PDFs and stuff right over here. See, like here's my DOI. That's important that I brought that in. That there is an ISBN number, that all of my authors are there. This is where you want to double check everything because, as Melissa said, garbage in, garbage out. If the metadata is not correct, it's going to appear really weird or strange in your works cited page or your references. Okay, so make sure that that is correct. This is the opportunity you could do it. You could also do it in the online library too. You just highlight that citation and you could fix the metadata there as well. Okay, so that's going to look there, and I'm going to make, so this is me on a PC, on a regular PC, a Windows PC. This is what it would look like. On a Mac, it looks a little bit different, although the differences are not that far off, because this is Windows Zotero 7, the latest version. So that's important there. One thing that I want to mention before I continue with the rest of the presentation, it's important that you choose one citation manager and not multiple, because you're going to have an issue when it comes to files. The universal file format for citations is RIS. And sometimes you do download some from one of these databases or one of these websites. And let's say you have EndNote installed along with Zotero, they're going to fight with who's going to download that, that file. So just pick one and stick to one. That's our advice. It's happened before multiple times. So just want to warn you about that. Okay. So this is the desktop. That's what it looks like. And now we've collected our citations. We're ready to start working on that paper, on that manuscript. Okay. So I'm going to stop my share here. I'm going to share. I'm going to show two things the way that we usually, like we're going to show first Word, and then we're going to go into Google Docs, especially for those that are going to collaborate on a project. So I'm going to open up my application here. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so this is a document that I'm working on. Just a simple, it's just, don't take it seriously, folks. It's just a little sample here. It's my Mickey Mouse Syndrome Zotero test, right? So I worked on a document. It's ready now for in-text citations as well as a bibliography or a works cited page to be inserted, right? So here is this document, and note that when you're working on a document, it's what allows the magic to work behind the scenes. It's all coding, it's field codes, right, that are going to go into this document. And I'll talk a little bit more about how you should always have a copy with the field codes and without the field codes, because that's the one with the codes is what allows the magic to happen. And especially if you're going to get edits or changes back from your professor or from an editor, let's say if you're working on a publication, you definitely want to see about having two copies of the same document, one with the codes and one without the codes, and I'll demonstrate in a bit. So here is Word, right? Oops. Here's my home file. I'm used to doing that. And of course, you just downloaded and installed the program and you're using Word, right? It also installed on the command ribbon of Word. So you'll see a little Zotero tab up on the command ribbon. So you want to make sure that, I'm ready for my citations. I'm going to work on this. Click on there. And here is the option. Okay, so this is my sentence. I'm ready to put in a citation. So right here, I'm going to get ready for my citation to be put in my text. I'm going to go add edit citation, right? You're going to see a little window pop up. Did everyone see a little red window pop up in the document? Oh no, because I'm sharing the screen. I should be sharing the app. So give me 1 second. I want to show you this.
And it will prompt you, I think it will prompt you to log in to your Zotero for the first time.
Right. So I'm sharing the screen, not the application. So now does everyone see there's a little red window? Okay, that's what you want. You've signed in with your credentials. It's ready to go. So right there's little Zotero, and I'm ready for my first citation. So artificial intelligence. Oops. So I have this one here, right, that I collected as part of my a list of citations that I grabbed from the web, from the catalog. So this one looks like it's right. I'm gonna go ahead and add that. And then right now I have it there under this, so I selected as a default APA. Now I work in medicine. The citation style that we use here is AMA, or the Journal of the American Medical Association, JAMA. That's what we use, the current edition, which is 11, which is a numerical style. This is using the last name of the author along with the year of the publication. So I go ahead and well, actually I have it on AMA style. So it's there, it's numerical in order of appearance, right? So that's there. And I'm going to go ahead and tab a little bit here, and I'm going to make sure that I add a bibliography or works cited while I'm working on the paper. So I go ahead and do that. And right there, it just generated my first citation. But I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to continue with my project, and I'm going to see about adding another citation here. So again, here's another spot that I want to add. Go ahead and click Added Citation. And I'm going to add maybe, let's see, what else could I add here? So I have another one here that I have from one of my other projects. Let's say, go ahead and add this one. And go ahead and add there. And right there, it just does it. It's creating the bibliography as you're writing, right? And now I have it set over here to AMA style, but I'm going to go ahead and the assignment calls for APA. So once again, I'm still on my tab. Let's go to Document Preferences. You're going to see a window that pops up that looks like this. Everyone can see the window that just popped up. So I have it under National Library of Medicine, or AMA. It's a numerical style. I'm going to go up to the APA 7th edition, right? That's what we want to. So I'm going to go click OK. And the magic right there, it just switched it to APA. And I can go ahead and switch it again if I wanted to back to AMA or a numerical style, whatever it is, which, you know, in medicine, it's AMA, National Library of Medicine. Go ahead and click that and see numerical style in order of appearance, right? So it's very smart. It knows and it does it for you right away. Very easy. The magic is great. Any questions on how I did that? Any questions at all? Any takers? Nobody? I hope that you see it's very easy to use, and that's a time saver right there. Excellent. And also too, again, you know, here you go. This is your assignment. I'm completing it, and then I have to go ahead and submit it into, like, let's say Canvas or some sort of a portal, right? You always want to have a copy with the codes, because what's allowing the magic to happen is these are all field codes that are working, like I mentioned before. But now I'm ready to submit it. So what you want to do is you're going to go in and click Unlink Citations. And you're going to see a little message here that's going to pop up that says, removing field codes will prevent Zotero from updating citations and bibliographies in this document. Are you sure you want to continue? Because you can't go back at all. Okay, so you want to go, once you click OK, that's what's going to happen. You're going to have a document that strips all of those field codes, and it's going to be static text. So you always have to have one with the field codes and one without the field codes, okay? Because you're definitely going to get some edits or some feedback, and maybe you have to change a couple of things. And instead of going back in all of your citations and renumbering stuff, let's say if it's an AMA, or fix something or add more citations or something, you definitely want to have that document with the field code, so it allows you to go back in and change things and make your life a whole lot easier, okay? So that's just a little bit of the magic in Word. Now I'm going to show you how it looks like in Google Docs, because of those of you that are going to, you know, collaborate or work on something, I'm going to go ahead and show you. So let me get out of here. So here's an example of Google Docs, right? Everyone's used Google Docs, probably collaborated on a project or whatnot. So again, you also installed the connector for Google, for Chrome. And along with that, you should see an extension or an add-in that was installed on the command ribbon of Google Docs. So in this, you see Zotero again. You want to click there. And the same features, the same stuff that you saw in Word. You'll see here the add edit citation, add edit bibliography, and also the unlinked citations feature too as well, right? So I'm going to do the same thing here. I have my document. I'm ready to start citing. So go Zotero, add edit citation, and it's going to ask you to authorize that you authorize the browser, that's functionality to work, you know, the in Google Docs. So it's going to give you the little the same little red window that's going to pop up, the little thing right there. So you see, and I'm going to go ahead and add in my citation that I just collected again. Go ahead and enter. There it is, right? I'm going to go in and add another one right over here. There's my window. I'm going to go ahead and put this again. My other two. So there are my citations. And again, just go ahead and tab. And again, here's Zotero. Let's add a bibliography or works cited. It's updating the document, and there it is, right again. And let's say the assignment doesn't call for AMA style or JAMA. You can go back into Zotero, document preferences, that same pop-up window is going to come up, right? I can switch to APA 7. It's going to update the document, and voila, magic. It's a little bit slow today, but we're getting there, right? So very easy to use. You can switch back and forth from different citation styles. And again, the same as in Word, you want to save 2 copies. One with the codes, like this one, and one that's static text when you unlink the citations. So that's, again, just going into Zotero, unlink the citations, and you're going to get that same warning message to see if, you know, you can't go back. You can't reverse. So again, this is a couple of things that, you know, allows you to that magic to happen. So very easy to use. Any questions? You could go ahead and post it in the chat. If you don't want to speak up, if you're shy, that's okay. Or you can unmute yourself. All right.
Also, when you're writing your paper and your first time using Zotero, Frank and I are always available for emailed questions. So, you know, we're also recording this to be able to watch again. But yeah, we're always available to help you out with any kind of Zotero questions.
Yeah, definitely. Always feel free to reach out. Even though I work in medicine in the College of Medicine, I get these questions all the time, and I jump on a call, and it's usually a simple fix or something quick. But very happy to help. But this definitely makes your life a whole lot easier, for sure. Okay.
Well, speaking of AI and artificial intelligence, another great thing about Zotero is it is open source by George Mason University. They're the ones who are the developers. And they allow for their code to be used by others to create apps and widgets and APIs. So one of those is Research Rabbit, which I'm going to show you a couple of items in Research Rabbit, which is an AI virtual assistant, citation assistant. Let me go ahead and share my Chrome. And I am going to go to Research Rabbit. So Research Rabbit is free forever. And it will, oops, I wanted to go back so you can see the actual, oops. Maybe I need to just do Research Rabbit. I wanted to see the beginning screen thing because I'm already logged on. So it is an AI tool, and it's very useful for when you're creating literature reviews. And it does something called it will do citation analysis, and it will also let you find more articles related to articles you've already found. So I'm going to go ahead and click here, Research Rabbit. Here's the page I was looking for. And you can sign up. It's free. And you would also be able to connect to your Zotero account, and it will you will need to do the initial logon, and then your citations will be your citations from Zotero will be connected to the Research Rabbit application. Oh, I think I'm logged into my personal Zotero instead of the Green Library Zotero, but it's fine. You can definitely switch that in the settings if you have multiple libraries. But let's just go ahead and use my Zotero library that I have connected. So, this is where you would import your Zotero collection. I have already imported these folders. It is by folder, so it doesn't import your whole library. It would be an individual folder from your library, and it would look like this. So maybe I want this here. It looks like I already have a couple synced. Let's start the sync. Maybe I don't want to do that right now because it might take time. But when you click import Zotero collection, it is those individual folders. It's not your whole collection. Let's go here to my Chat GPT folder. And I clicked on my GPT folder, and it's going to, this first column here are the articles that are in this Zotero folder. And they are synced. So maybe I choose one of these articles to see. This is a great article. I'm writing a paper about AI and ethics. And I've read through this, and, it had a lot of great insights. So I want to find similar papers to this. I'm going to go ahead and click on it. And this is what they call a seed paper. So this is the seed, and we're going to grow that seed. And here's the paper that's selected, and notice it brought in the abstract, so I can kind of familiarize myself with this article. And what it is doing in this column here is searching through the Zotero library of articles saved. So, in the beginning with ChatGPT, there was a lot of worry about fake citations. So you could ask ChatGPT to help you write a literature review and find more citations. And unfortunately, it would give fake citations. The author might be correct. That author could be working in this field, but the article could actually be a fake. And that was a really big concern for professors. So when they created Research Rabbit, they really tried to make sure that the articles are in fact real. So what they chose to do is use the Zotero catalog of citations. So in order for this to show up articles, that article has to have been saved by someone into the Zotero catalog. That has, for the most part, I think, cleared up that issue of having fake citations generated by an AI. And that was a very big concern in the beginning of AI. Is they would tell you use this book for this project, and then the book actually didn't exist. But using the Zotero catalog of citations kind of cuts down on that fake citation generation. So I have my article here, and you notice it's pulled in the title, the authors. It doesn't have a PDF with it, but that, I have it in my library where I can click, find it at FIU and find the article. Or I could, at this time, choose to go in and save the PDF, depending on what I want to do. So let's look at this generated content right here. I think I want to make this a little bit bigger. Okay. So I have a couple of different options to find more papers. So this first one is similar works. And what the similar works is looking for is it's looking through the abstracts, for keywords. It's looking at tags that individuals have added for those articles, those newspapers, those scholarly articles, films, so on. So I'm going to click here on similar work. And what it'll do, oh, it's so pretty, you know, as a visual learner. I love a good concept map. It has pulled other articles on ChatGPT and ethics and moral authority and added them to this list of similar work. And I can see already that there might be some interesting ones that I could possibly, you know, think about exploring. I've exhausted my search strategies. I need, you know, more articles for my literature review. I'm creating an annotated bib. I can go ahead and find more articles that are similar in nature using Research Rabbit. Maybe I want to do, let's click on one and you'll see. Oh, here's one about actual people using ChatGPT as an author on their research papers. That's a really interesting viewpoint that kind of scares me. So now I started my process over. I chose that article. That's my seed. And it is doing the same exact thing that I did the first time, and it can grow in that way. So now I can look at the similar work. That's what I clicked before, but now you'll notice there are two. This one has both. That one only had one of these. So this is the references within the paper, and these are the citations of individuals who have cited this work. So this is allowing me to kind of do a deep dive into the subject, because I know I read this article, this is a great article, and I need to find similar work. So maybe I want to do the references in this work. And you'll notice these are a little bit older, or I mean, yeah, so this one here, and I could just restart the process. So these references, that's when some other paper has used this paper and refer to this paper, and the citations are the actual citations that are listed in the paper. So if I wanted to see in this article the citations from that article, here I go, and I'm starting the process over, where I could just kind of go through. I can also go back and I can start afresh, start anew, and then I can have these opportunities to kind of look through the actual individual authors. Maybe there's a specific author. Doesn't look like, not all of them have articles in here, but we can look at suggested authors. Let's see. But it's kind of like just doing some, you know, research spelunking, where I'm kind of looking around. I'm finding, you know, papers that are related to other papers. And this can sometimes be helpful, because maybe I find a new paper, I could read through that article, find new keywords from the article, new subjects, new avenues to explore, controlled vocabulary. But that whole thing that's adding to your search, you can use Research Rabbit to kind of, you know, use what you've already added to your Zotero to find new articles related to your topic. And also, you know, it's just a fun new way to do some research outside of the normal parameters of research. Does anybody have any questions about Research Rabbit? I encourage you to kind of play around with it and see if you could find some useful papers within it. It is brand new, so it will hopefully only get better and improve as more individuals use it. I think that's what's key for AI. That's I think that's all I have.
Any questions at all? Feel free. I think the chat there's no questions in the chat that I've been monitoring. Um, Definitely feel free, don't be shy. This is the time to ask, but of course you could always ask us later. Um, Melissa just showed Research Rabbit. This is something too, we show every once in a while with our PA students over in our program because they have a major assignment in capstone and sometimes they hit a wall like, oh, they can't find enough on a particular topic or something. And that nice graphical representation, they get to see who cited who and then go into that. That's really, really great to see that. And it helps a lot with research. So hopefully you found this workshop very useful. There's a lot of cool things that you could do with this tool, uh, Zotero and Research Rabbit. So please, I encourage you to ask questions. Feel free. You can always shoot us a message. And if you want to contact us later. I'm going to put my contact information in the chat.
Me too.
Yes, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So we have a question actually that came in. Thank you very much. So the question is, does FIU support subscriptions to Zotero? It is 100% free. The only thing that you have to pay for is storage. So that's the answer, but FIU does not pay for storage. Yeah.
And I mean, I haven't had anyone that I mean, maybe in medical, but any of the students I've ever worked with have ever had to purchase storage, or even faculty members have had to purchase storage. You do get quite a chunk. So it is totally free.
Yeah. I mean, you get 300 megabytes for free, and that's okay. That usually gets you by, but then you might want to consider storage or upgrading that if you store a lot of PDFs. That's something you might want to consider for that. So just to answer your question, our pleasure.
I think we can stop the recording now.